Hello, and good evening. I hope that you can hear me okay and see me okay. I am taking a look at my phone to make sure I'm not too blurred, that you can hear me all right. So, if there are technical glitches, Claire's Wi-Fi is working really well tonight, so I will just kind of let her roll with the session. So welcome to our sleep talk tonight. We're going to be taking about half an hour or so of your time this evening to talk to you a little bit about Unalon, which is Claire's business, and a little bit about sleep as well. So without further ado, I am going to bring Claire onto the stream. Welcome, Claire.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Nice to be here.
Wonderful. So we shared a little video, which we'll come to in a moment, but we shared a little video today on your absolutely stunning room that you do all your work. But before we power into it, I just want to double check where the Wi-Fi is, if we're okay, a few technical things. So that's really interesting. My image is not on the screen in the tribe, but yours is. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Can you all hear me? You can use the comments on the YouTube or in Facebook. Do let me know if you're hearing anything while I discover what on earth is going on here. Okay. Okay. Can you see me now? I can't see you, Claire.
Oh,
you're back. Yeah, so let me just check in the track because it's a few minutes delayed. A few seconds delayed. Just see if it's coming up. That's you coming up. But I'm still not there.
You're not.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't know.
Forward.
It's just hilarious, isn't it? Right. Okay. We can. Thank you, Diane. You can hear, but you cannot see. Right. Okay. So, right. Let me stop my cam, and then we start the cam. Is that come up, Claire, for you?
No, still not coming up.
Right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out and log back in. Meanwhile, Claire, sorry to throw this over to you, my lovely, but I know that you're ready and prepared. I'd like to ask on behalf of everybody, actually, when you look at that gorgeous video that we sent today and that beautiful room with all those things, you know, that is such a gorgeous space to work in, but it's not something that is just part of your kitchen, is it? This is like something that you have specifically put together in your passion. So there's a clear passion behind what you do. And I want to ask you, what is it that actually started you getting into this business? And then while you're explaining that to everybody, I'm just going to re-log back in and hopefully I'll be on screen soon.
No problem. Thanks, Nick.
Oh, thank you, Claire. I'll see you soon.
So, hello, everybody. I'm Claire and I'm Unalome. So I started Unalome a little over a year ago. Literally started in the dining room, and before long there was just so much stock everywhere. And with having 3 little kids, I just needed somewhere to work and to be able to focus on the brand and what I wanted the brand to be. So we purchased a summer house last lockdown, and went to work building that. I was very clear on what I wanted. I needed a load of storage to be able to put all the little glass bottles and jars and stuff. So we got some scaffolding and made some furniture with some reclaimed furniture. And then just slowly, I just started kitting it out with the vision of, if I had a shop, how would I want the shop to look? And that's where all the little gadgets in the workshop, that's where the inspiration came from to do it that way, because that is how I kind of envisage the shop being eco and rustic and reclaimed. So yeah, just completely
I literally could live in that place, and I love like little boxes of things. And one of the things actually that drew me to you in the first place is because everything that you do is really kind of organic and ethical and sourced and really, really thought about, and the love and attention that you put into everything that you do. And that's just how we kind of connected, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And then the Unilome, that was bizarre. Because last lockdown I was meant to get that done, wasn't I? And I couldn't get it done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to get it right when your screen's back to front. But yeah, there's my little whoa,
yeah.
there's my tattoo. There's loads of versions of them, but and I posted earlier this week about what does it even mean? So why were you drawn to that as a name for what you do?
I was drawn because of the reasons why I wanted to set up Unilome, because I'd had a difficult few years. I'd lost both my parents quite suddenly. Already had a 3-year-old, and then I was pregnant with identical twins, and they came along at 28 weeks. So they were in ICU for 3 months, oxygen for a year, and this all happened within the space of like 2 years. It was just crazy. So Unilome I got attracted to that because of the meaning of the twists and turns, and the straight line, meaning that you've come out through the other side. And see your just sat so well and resonated with me. And that's where I thought it's got to be Unilome. And having 3 girls, I couldn't choose just one name because it'd have been so much fighting. So the whole and the nature, and then together with the spirituality of Unilome, for me it just connected, and I just thought that has to be the name.
Well, that's what I also find quite interesting about it, because I've always been into essential oils, which, like a lot of people watching this, they know this about me. Like, I used to bring a lot of different oils into my classes that I used to run. I still do, actually. I have it on tissue now, but I used to sort of massage it into the forehead when we were allowed to do that as part of the end of the yoga for the meditation. And the difference that oils can have on your whole system, like, I actually get goosebumps because when I was going through some grief myself, this is when I actually stumbled across them. I dabbled here and there, but it also was when I realized the importance of good quality as well.
And there's so many
things that are the chemicals.
There's so many out there that claim to be organic and stuff like that, but they're so heavily watered down that it really, for some people that have said, oh, I've tried essential oils before, they've not worked, I always urge them to try a pure product, because the difference in the pure and the watered down can have such an effect on how that works for you.
It's like when you first start to sort of reassess what you're putting in your body, for example, and how you're living your life. Everything starts to count. What you put on your hair, what you put on your skin. And when you start to use more pure stuff, you realize more so afterwards, don't you? Like, what's not actually good. Like, when I've used your stuff and then I'll smell something else and I'll be like, I can smell the chemicals in that one, compared to when you're using like real good quality. And so when I was going through grief, and I just didn't know what to do, where to turn. I just wanted to be on my own, but I stumbled across a little stall, and they were just had loads of different, this is years ago when I was back in Dubai, just loads of little testers out, and I came across neroli and geranium, and as you know, geranium is one of my favorite ones. And it was just smelling it just seemed to take the edge off, and I got really into it from then. I'm not as, like, I don't use it daily like I used to do, but it was constant for me. I had different blends. I tried to learn as much as I could about it, because it is, and what do the different ones do for you as well?
100%, and I love that you can use most of them alongside medical routes as well, because that's the thing, a lot of the time medicines and stuff can make you feel better, but there's certain edges that they can't help with, like the anxiety or the feeling overwhelmed and stuff like that. Some things essential oils really do help work alongside the more normal medicines.
And you're part of the NHS as well, aren't you? And do you find that's coming more and more? What's the kind of scoop on?
I personally think that the whole holistic and herbal side of things will come through. I think due to the pandemic and stuff like that, that might encourage it happening sooner rather than later. But I think it's very much about introducing it slowly with less of a medical attachment to it, if that makes sense. So you'd probably use some of the claims of, you know, this will help you sleep, this will help you feel less stressed. I think introducing it slowly like that. But I can completely see one day, I'd hope anyway, that you can go to your doctor and have a holistic referral and a medical referral for conditions.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Because like you say, and with
sometimes you don't need to have the medicine. Sometimes the holistic side, like what you do and what I do, that can be enough for a person.
Yeah, and we've spoken about it right back before when we were doing the chats previously. We spoke about there being a place for both, you know, and I remember us connecting over that and saying, you know, we're neither for nor against any like approach as long as it's right for that person. But certainly as a, you know, if you can avoid going down that route and using something alternative, then that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And especially I do work with children as well. There's not anything that's open to children with anxiety or low mood or you know, on the spectrum and stuff like that. There's not a lot of medicine out there for children, and you'd kind of want to probably avoid that anyway. So again, you know, down the herbal route, it's you know, and it's teaching the next generation as well to look for that as well as medicine.
Diane said, yeah, she's just put a comment to say, we're starting to see this now a lot more through social prescribing. I've heard that before, the term social prescribing, and I think that is lovely. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is that like what you've just said there, where they'll actually reach out to organisations that are helping, you know, individuals through that alternative approach? Yeah.
I really do hope so. And it's part of my own agenda this year, at least, to try and get Unalome through the health professional door, so to speak. So I'm hoping to out to some people in the profession to see whether there is a way through the door of trying, you know, because I think as well it would lessen the burden a lot of our doctors and wards and stuff are under, just by letting them have a choice and going, do you want to try this first? Or you know, there's a year-long waiting list for counselling. Would you like to try Inspire Wire or Unalome or other people? I think, you know, one in our industry really, but I definitely think it would help the NHS as well.
Yeah, and when we were talking earlier about like just knowing about the different essential oils, you know, I was telling you about how I went down that route of just learning a little bit about it, because if you are interested in this kind of thing, you know, there's so much to learn about so many different therapies and different approaches. And with this one alone, haven't you started to do workshops as well that
I'm just children.
What are they then? Is that about the oils? Is it about putting your products together? Yeah.
The children's one's going to be launched in the next week or two. I've got a couple of schools on board with me, and they're going to pick up little packs from the reception at school, so it's contactless. And in there, they're going to make their own calm roller and sleep and relax roller. And then I've thrown in some lavender seeds and compost and stuff, so they can start to plant their own little herbal garden.
Oh my goodness, Claire, I love that. I love that. And it's getting right to the root of helping that next generation for that to be part of their life, because I think it's interesting about what's going on with this pandemic, because I know there's been like a lot of negative things, but there's also been a lot of positive things. Like I know it's created a lot of mental health problems, I know that, but there was also a lot of mental health problems already, and it's a huge subject for us to even touch on tonight. But what I have noticed is that people are talking about it more. Like, you know, before the pandemic, there was some people, there was the heads together from, you know, the royals, and, you know, there was a lot more celebrities coming out, which was great because that's like a role model coming out and talking about it a bit more. But even more so now, it's becoming, finally, it's kind of going over that stigma that
Yeah,
sort of mental health has, which covers things like anxiety, depression, bipolar, and all sorts of different things. That it's usually we have something, if it's not something that might be seen as a bigger mental health problem, it could be something like anxiety, and that
100%.
anxiety, you know, part of anxiety is our survival. Part Having some anxiety is normal, to help us to get through things, to make the right decisions, to come away from something, to move towards something. It's part of our primal fight and flight. But when it becomes chronic, or it's so high that it's impacting your daily life,
Yeah,
that's when it's like, right, no, we need to do something about it. So I've started to see that, like even at the nursery, for example, that my little one goes to, they're starting to look at the behaviour of children based on this pandemic. And so I think that's fantastic that you're already sort of working with schools and getting children to be interested, getting to look at things, to make your own roller. I'd love to do that. I love
well,
that.
able to do the adult ones as well. And initially, that's what
Yeah.
I was going with, but having 3 children, and obviously, my eldest suffers really bad with anxiety for the last few years. I just had to get in with the children first to try and help them, because I think as
Oh,
well,
I love it.
the minds work, they're so open to allowing the product to work. If that
Yeah.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
it makes total sense. But isn't that also where you started with the products, your eldest one? Isn't
It
that where you came up with
was.
the little roller?
Yeah, it was, because we'd been through the whole NHS route and counselling, private therapy, everything, and nothing actually helped her with the physical symptoms of it. Some nights she can be up till midnight
Yes.
because the brain's just ticking and
Yeah.
ticking.
Yeah.
Um, so I just started to look at what was already out there, and there wasn't a lot out there for children. Which is when I started to study the essential oils, and came up with the roller. And to this day, she still uses the Sleep and Relax roller, and it works every time for her.
And that's when it becomes even more important to have those real kind of pure ingredients, because if they're like inhaling it, you want to
100%.
know
Yeah,
that that is like,
safe.
I've got one of mine with me. I have still got this from last year when you
Amazing.
gave me that sleep box,
It's
and
for that
like
time.
I've still got like that much left,
Wow.
and I use it every night, and I do 2 or 3 squirts. It's not like one. I'm not precious with it. And that's got, what's it got? Geranium,
Geranium, lavender,
lavender, chamomile. Yeah, amazing combination, but it's strong. It's not like, it's,
a
Dan can
little go.
smell it when I've sprayed it. You
Yeah.
can smell it down the hall, and that box, right, let's come on to that box, because we've started to talk a little bit now about insomnia that can come from anxiety, and that was a little bit about, you know what tonight is about.
Mhm.
We talked a little bit about mental health in children and in adults, and specifically with anxiety, but also with depression. Depression can also impact sleep as well. So a lot of the people in the tribe know that I mean, maybe you don't know, but I suffered with insomnia for many, many years after the grief that I experienced. It brought out a lot of old stuff, and it took like a really long time to heal back from this kind of insomnia that had been hanging around. And like I say, the oils were a massive change for me. It was a massive kind of step. And then I did lots with the mind. I did lots with my food. It's insomnia is a very complicated situation, and it is so unique for each person. The mind is so, abstract, and for each person has to work through it in their own kind of journey. And so, because I spent 5 years, I went for hypnotherapy. I went down the NHS traditional route as well. I went through mental health route. Um, I used my oils, meditation, yoga. I've been through the whole shabam, and I've thrown a lot of money at it. I threw a lot of money at insomnia. And over those years, I kind of put together a whole bundle. So it's one of my bundles. It's about anxiety and insomnia, and it's all about like there's a couple of videos that go right into detail of my personal experience with it, all the different stuff that I tried, what worked, what maybe wasn't as strong, mind, body, soul, all the different senses, taste, sounds, everything, and put that together. And now what was missing for me with that was this kind of simple process that we've kind of put together as this like sleep ritual, and the bringing yourself down at the end of the night. I had a kind of a ritual, but in terms of the products that I used as well, in terms of the essential oils, I have got a million different brands because I just couldn't find the right one. I used to like mix them up myself and that kind of thing. But then when I found out that you were then starting to think about a sleep box, an anxiety box, and all these different kind of things, I was like, that completes what
Yeah.
my whole bundle is about, and I use it all the time. And then you sent me a bundle, and I call it a bundle, but it's a box. And like I said, I've been using those same products. The eye mask, the softness of the eye mask, the color, and all these beautiful things. And we're actually giving one of these boxes away, aren't we?
We are.
You're
Love
giving one of these boxes away. Yeah,
fabulous packaging
in
as
the
well.
box. Yeah, in the box is this. Where have I put mine? In the box is one of those leaflets that it's fallen on my heart. Is also anybody that gets a box from Claire would also get a discount on the insomnia bundle. But more than that, there's already a sleep ritual here. So it's our tips really on how to sort of get yourself into a nice relaxing sleep with a free hypno recording as well, sleep meditation. So what we're going to do is after this call, we're going to have a think about what you need to do to get that box. And it's not going to be loads of things. You don't have to jump through hoops, but it might be something like sharing the page or the product or the box or something with people. But we'll let you know, and then we'll release who's going to have that offer. But you're also going to get a discount anyway just from being part of this. I'm just going to quickly look through the comments, Claire. I don't know if you've got
Yeah.
anything you want to add from that, but somebody's put here, it's come through as a Facebook user because it's not got their name on here. It's a great idea for children, what you were doing. Sounds amazing. Yeah, like, did you want to add anything else to your box or anything that you feel about sleep yourself?
I'm really proud of the partnership between both because after Unilome, the logo it always says mind, body, spirit, and I love how the two have connected on that platform. What I love personally about the sleep rituals is it's almost getting your brain into focus to let your brain know that you are going to have a good night's sleep tonight. You're going to follow these steps, these simple instructions, and you are going to have that hour of self-care. You're going to have a nice good sleep. You're going to feel relaxed, more calm. So I like the way, for me anyway, it kind of prepares the mind in advance as well.
Yeah, because what we tend to do is
you overcomplicate it or think about it too much. When you're following our rituals, it's guiding you through, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because what we tend to do is we can just be laying there watching TV or whichever and go, right, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. And then you get into bed and you're like, I was tired, but now I'm not.
Yeah.
It's because you are genuinely tired, but because you're so stimulated by the external things out there that
Yeah.
you're not quite ready. And it's almost like you're beginning your sleep ritual from there in your head. But then you start to question it because this is the complication of insomnia. Then you're like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight then. Oh, don't think about it. Oh, there you go, thinking about it. Just relax. It's
Yeah.
fine. You know, and then, oh, what time is it? Oh, wait a second. I need to write this down because of tomorrow. And it just goes on like that. I mean, I really, really know.
Yeah.
And
And it's I think as well, like I can't sleep without a fan. I cannot sleep without a fan next to my bed. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's the white noise or the cold air on me. And sometimes it's nice to just have an open discussion about it, because so many things can work for people differently, can't they? So it's nice to practice.
The ritual thing's nice, yeah. And I would, so like I have to sleep with earplugs, even if it's
Really?
quiet. Yeah, that's my thing. It's like it's stuck now, you know. Damn
Where
it.
did that?
But oh God, I know where it came from. It was like years ago, years ago. But more so it's that it kind of got worse before it got better. So it was way before when things were too loud, I'd use them. But it was
Yeah,
like hit and miss. But then after my brother-in-law died, and because it was quite a traumatic death, so he took his own life like nearly 7 years ago, and that's what kind of threw me into that, because it was things that I was not dealing with on a internal level, and so it threw me out for like 5 years. You know, I had insomnia a really long time, and hence why I've done so much research into it.
yeah,
And certain things work for me. It's like sometimes people say, "Oh, just stay in bed and you'll eventually fall asleep." But I know now, knowing myself, if insomnia rears its head again, usually it's hormonal. That's the first thing that I know. I've started to recognize and monitor my mood, hormone, and sleep.
yeah,
But sometimes, if it's because I'm overthinking or I've overstimulated too much before bed, then I go, okay, get up. And I actually get up and I start the ritual again. Not the full ritual that we would do, but
yeah,
I would go pretend, I'd like trick myself and go, that didn't happen. Okay.
yeah,
Otherwise, I beat myself up, and I'll get a book out, or I'll just, I'll even sometimes go back on the phone. I know that people say not to do that because of the blue
yeah,
light, but as long as it's not stuff like work or anything that's going to get me hyped up and excited or,
yeah.
ready, it has to be something dull and mundane. I could
It'll make,
even just pop outside and take a few breaths. And
yeah,
then it's like, right, okay, now I'm tired. I'm going to bed. And I
yeah.
get into bed and it's a positive space instead of it being like this
Oh, I can,
horrendous. Yeah.
yeah. And it's
So
good that
it's
you've
changing.
well what works for you, because I think you hit the nail on the head at the beginning of the VT, that we're all individual, and what works for one person might not work for the other. So it's good that you kept a diary and you noted it
Yeah.
and found a
Yeah.
solution for it when it does raise its ugly head. You know how to handle it now.
Yeah. And it's like with the baths and stuff, using salts in your bath is one of the most eh, effective ways to get your body, like you were talking about the physical effects of anxiety,
Yeah,
to reduce that. And especially if you're using like extra Epsom salts, because then you're getting extra magnesium that helps you to sleep. It's like it's a hug. Apparently it's equivalent to a hug as well. You're warm,
they've got so
you're
much that are good for your body. So the essential oils some of them might target your body, some of them might target your mind. But with the added salts, like you say, the magnesium, the Dead Sea, the Himalayan,
yeah,
the amazing, powerful, natural
yeah.
thing body. It really, really does.
Going right into your body and through the nose. And it's like, and obviously it physically relaxes you as well. And I would
Mm.
just say, as a tip for people, so some people who might overheat, for example, I would say do the bath part earlier in the night and allow your body to kind of reset,
Yeah,
or even bring it into a foot bath. If
yeah.
you haven't got a bath, there's always a way, you know. Let me see what so it's Evelyn. Hi Evelyn, I'm so glad you made it, lovely. Diane says, I've slept with earplugs since uni because it was too noisy, and now I can't sleep without them. I feel you. I feel you. And I found the best ones, and they're only £2 something online. And they're the waxy ones, but they're like jelly wax. So you can just easily just squish them right in there. Probably not
Wow.
good for you. Really. I know.
Getting
But that's
sleep.
my thing. I think, do you know what? I think it really, really that started to happen when I was doing a lot of business trips, and I used to sometimes fly to Korea and then
Seen it.
come back to Dubai. So it was like the hour, the time difference, the jet
Yeah.
lag, and I'd just go, right, I need to sleep now, and I'd just shove my earplugs in, put an eye mask on, and I'd feel like I was in my own little world, and that just helped. And then it kind of stuck really from there.
Maybe it was the most relaxing time. Maybe you felt relaxed at that time. Well, that helped you drift off.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, yeah,
Mad, isn't
yeah.
it?
It is. It is. So yeah, there's so many tips. I've got loads and loads of different tips on. I was thinking about throwing a blog out there at some point actually, so that if you don't feel you want the whole bundle, that you even just at least get some tips
Yeah,
and advice.
and even the bundle, you know, that they're all available to buy separately. And you know,
Yeah.
and me and Nick can talk about, you know, adding this into individual products maybe or something. I don't know. So
Yeah.
it's on everybody's budget as well. So you don't
Yeah,
just
because you can buy this. Like if I want another one of these, I
yeah,
can just buy this. It doesn't have to be the whole sleep
no,
box. But I think what's lovely about the box is gifting it.
yes,
It's a really nice because the box itself, the
well,
box that you put them in is so good. The quality of the box itself is like, I'm a box person, but you know that bit on the side there, it's magnetized or something,
yeah.
and it's like one of those boxes you just can't. No, it'll never go
They
anywhere. It's in the house.
and at December it completely. I can't off the top of my head remember when we first launched it, Nick, but in December they completely sold out because I think everyone was just gifting them
Brilliant,
for Christmas. They are brilliant gifts, especially if you know somebody's troubled at the moment.
brilliant.
And
Yeah, it'll help them.
yeah,
It will.
yeah, 100%.
And with that added little bit with the card, like we say, with some extra like mind stuff just to like complete it, because it is all of it, isn't it? Let me see what here. Someone says, I find an Epsom salt bath helps with sleep, a comfort factor. I pop lavender in it, but I would be interested to hear what other oils may help for the bath or foot soak. Evelyn, thank you for letting me know, Evelyn. It was you. Um, yeah. So what can
Wow.
people put in their bath that's not going to stick? Because I've made some mistakes with this and I've burnt my
Yeah,
bum a few times.
yeah, yeah.
Putting the wrong oil in the bath.
The most popular essential oils I found when I was coming up with the blends for the sleep package was lavender, eucalyptus, believe it or not, geranium, and chamomile. They're all really safe to go in the bath as well. But what you have to be careful about putting the essential oil drops undiluted into the bath is you have to dilute them with a carrier oil. That's where the complications start.
That's where I went wrong.
Bath, that's when you're going to burn your skin or have, you know, reactions and stuff like that. And it can be some of them can be quite nasty. So a basic carrier oil you can always pick up from Holland and Barrett. It's called Jojoba Oil. That's a brilliant one to start with, especially if anyone's got any nut allergies.
Claire, can you mix them with like some oils that you might have, knocking about? Like,
it was like coconut oil, almond oil. I think you can do it with olive oil.
yeah.
Used olive oil personally. I just always feel like weird thinking about me putting olive oil in a bath because I use olive oil, but it has to be a carrier oil at least because you don't want to end up burning yourself. But yeah, that's a great one. The one that we've got in our bundle is lavender and eucalyptus, because the eucalyptus really opens up your airways, and eucalyptus has been known as well to help with sleep apnea.
I can imagine that. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I actually used it when I was I don't know whether you're allowed to do this when you're pregnant, so please don't take my advice on this, because I believe only lavender is the one that's kind of recommended, and even then people are quite, reluctant to advise. But
Yeah.
I was getting migraines when I was pregnant because my hormones had just gone mental, and I was using I put a little smell together, eucalyptus, peppermint, and something else,
Yeah.
and just the opening up of the airways in my head.
That's
I completely forgot about that actually. Yeah.
Working on that exact blend, believe it or not, for my
Really?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
properties in it. It just really clears it. But yeah, any of those are fine for the bath. Just make sure you use a carrier oil. And if you've got nothing else about, just try a bit of olive oil. As long as it's in with the oil before you put it in the bath, give it a little mix before you pop it in.
Yeah, yeah. And like if you're watching this on replay or you think of a question later to ask either of us about sleep, please just like pop your questions in, because I'm trying to think of my tips now on sleep, and there's just like you say, that we're all so unique and individual. It really depends on your situation. But I would definitely kind of think about trying to come off your screen a little bit earlier in the evening. That's like a big one. Something like ashwagandha is an adaptogen herb, and that helps to balance your cortisol levels. So if it's too high or it's too low, you bring cortisol down with ashwagandha as well. Yeah, they say milk also some properties in milk. If you do drink milk, brings it down, ready for sleep. There's certain apps, but then again, that's also using your phone. But there's there's an app called Calm, which has got loads of like beautiful stories and stuff. Um, Different people reading them out to help you to go to sleep. Trying to think now what's on top of my head.
On
Oil. Say
YouTube,
again.
calming music on YouTube. My daughter goes to sleep with that
Yeah.
most nights.
Meditations to listen to as you're going to bed. I actually even at one point found a pillow that had um, a speaker inside the pillow, so you didn't have to bother shoving things in your ears. How
Ah,
amazing is that? You just lay on your pillow and you're just listening to the
oh.
music, you know? And there's a really good breathing app that I find is useful in so many different situations, but it's called Cardia, Kadia, I believe. And all it is, it's really simple. It's a sphere, so it's just a ball, and it expands and it closes, and it expands and it closes, and you can set the speed. So you're supposed to watch it and breathe in
Oh.
and breathe out like that. So you're moving with it. So if you want a like a longer exhale, which brings oxytocin into the body, which relaxes you, which brings down like the cortisol again, then you can do that. Or if you're looking for a 4 in, 4 out, and if you don't want to look at the screen, you can set it to sounds of the waves. So it's like, you know, or a chime, like a ding to breathe in and a ding to breathe out. So there's all sorts of stuff out there to help. It's just about exploring things really, what
Yeah.
not to eat, having a bit of protein before bed, that's another one, not having the sugar. Certainly caffeine, and I talk to a lot of people about caffeine. It's one of my vices as well, so please don't feel guilty about it. But if you are having insomnia, I'm sorry, but one of the first things you've got to go is coffee. So even if you have a coffee at, let's say, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, it stays in your body for 12 hours, you
Wow.
know? And I've noticed sometimes I've gone, oh, that's really strange. Why am I not sleeping tonight? Because I think everything's fine. I'm not hormonal. What's going on? And then I go, oh, I had a proper coffee today. And that's how sensitive I am. Not everybody is sensitive to coffee, though. That's what I find quite interesting. Not everybody is. So if you are, then it's one of the things to go. And it's also something that contributes to adrenal fatigue because you're pulling off your adrenal glands. So it's the first thing I recommend to drop when you're completely fatigued. Not tired, it's different. When you're completely fatigued, doesn't mean you have to quit it forever. I love coffee. But when you start to find that coffee is um, not waking you up anymore, it's not actually having an effect, then it's because your adrenals are completely depleted. Because with coffee, what it does is, and I was thinking about this the other day, and I thought I must do a live on this, but I'm gonna say it now because um, whenever I don't know about you, but if you have a coffee, do you often need to go to the toilet fairly quick afterwards, right? Yeah. So this is how much things that we ingest, that we smell, that we whatever we put into our body has an impact on our body. So first of all, that's a big deal. Second, why are we going to the toilet when we've had a coffee? And it's because you're in fight and flight. So if you have a coffee, it's stimulating your adrenal gland. That's why you're awake, but it's temporary and it's not real. What's happening then is your adrenal glands are secreting the adrenaline, the cortisol is going up as well for you to fight and flight. So in fight or flight, the body shuts down everything that's not important. So it's shutting down your bowel movement. You need to get rid of that. If you're going for, if you're fighting something, it's like, I don't need that. I also don't need my reproductive system. I
Wow.
don't need, right? You think about it like that. What I need is my respiratory system and my muscles, and that is tight and breath. And that's when you're in anxiety, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like that. So the coffee is exaggerating all of that tenfold. So there's so many reasons why that coffee needs to be one of the first things to go,
Wow.
but then you can reintroduce it when you find yourself healing again and you're like, right, okay, I'm ready to bring coffee back in.
Yeah.
And if you do, either go with like a normal coffee jar instead of the proper stuff, or buy the Lavazia. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. The Lavazia decaf. That's the best one that I've found so far that tastes the closest to real coffee. But it's so obviously also got caffeine in it, even though it's decaf. So it's just the tips like that, isn't it? To realise and to
I
know
know about
what it
coffee,
does.
no half.
Yeah. I know. So now when I have a coffee, it's a very mindful choice. I'm like, I'm gonna have a coffee.
I'm going to
And the consequences I will deal with. For example, or yeah, and if it's not working, if I don't feel like I've woken up, then
Yeah.
I'm like, that's because I'm fatigued and I've run out of fuel. There's nothing left to drag out of the adrenal glands. There's nothing left,
That's mad.
you
Is
know. Yeah.
time for me when I can't sleep. Turmeric milk. Have you ever tried turmeric milk?
Yes. Yes.
Brilliant.
The golden something.
It's brilliant. It literally just you get the best night's sleep off that.
And if you put a little bit of ashwagandha powder in there with the turmeric, and also a little bit of like a drop of vanilla essence, pure organic vanilla essence, it's actually a little bit nicer on the tongue
Oh, I'll try
when
that.
you drink it. Yeah. Fab. So Evelyn says, thank you. I didn't realize that either. I just put it straight from the bottle. That's when going back to the oils that we're talking about, putting the essential oils. The oils you just mentioned, will they be effective for a foot soak for someone I know who doesn't have a bath?
Yeah, absolutely. Wherever you're putting it, it's absorbing, like you said before, Nick, about the salt. It's all absorbing into your body. The aroma is still coming up towards your nasal passage from the foot soak. So it'll have the exact same benefits as a bath soak completely.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I think yeah, if you're interested, Evelyn, I would recommend, if when are you thinking of doing the adult ones, by the way? Is that something that you're thinking of introducing soon?
Yes,
Ish?
the children are going to be my guinea pigs. Because
And how pure is that? How pure? That just says.
my biggest issue is going to be the workshop connection. As you know, Nick, I've got every gadget going to try and get an internet connection down there. So I just want to try it out. So maybe April.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
And we'll share it in the group. We'll let people know when it is. And if you also pop in there your page, I think I've like tagged your page a couple of times, but still,
Yeah. I'll pop it
just
in.
pop in the comments, and
Yeah.
then people know how to find you and how to keep in touch and how to follow you. And is there anything else that you'd like to share, Claire, before we round up and let these lovely people have their
Oh, I know.
screen
No,
time?
I would just love to thank you, Nick, because you're so informative. Like even from our little chat tonight, I've learned things, and I'm dead proud of the package that we've put together, and I hope it helps people. I hope people take things from it, and just thanks everyone for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much, Claire. That's really nice to hear. And yeah, I just love working with you, love chatting with you, and I really do think it'll help a lot of people. It's definitely helped me. Becky says this has been so interesting. Thank you, ladies. Dan
Oh,
says thank you, some great tips. And yeah, well, maybe we'll pop back again if you like this kind of topic. Then maybe we'll come back again and talk about this and what next the box that you've got coming out, Claire, and we'll
I'd
talk
love
a
that.
little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be brilliant.
Oh,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for your time. And thank you, everyone, for being here. And thank you also for asking your questions and interacting with us, because that's when we know how to help and what you've got on your mind and so on. We can tailor these kind of sessions to you, really. So thank you so much for that. And again, if you're watching on replay and you do have a question and you think, oh, I've missed it, just pop the question in there. We will look. If Claire misses it, I'll tag her in. you know, so don't worry, we'll get back to you. And keep your eye out for the competition to win. Have you got the actual box there, Claire, that we can see the insides?
Show you all the individual products.
Yeah, that would be great.
Jar of salts, but that will be changing, unfortunately, because I can't get the jars for much longer. But you get more salts. This is our de-stress bath tea. I don't know whether you can see it. So that comes with little tea bags. You can either put it in loose, or you can fill up the tea bags and
love that.
Bath soap.
If for a tea lover like me, it's great.
Spray the Nic stuff.
Yep.
And the eye mask.
Love the eye mask. It's like so silky.
You get a pulse roller, and then you get the Unilome and the Inspire Wire sleeves, and it all comes in a box. Oh, and you get tea as well, but I forgot to bring the tea sachets in.
Oh yeah, the tea. There's actual sleep tea, which is part of the ritual. You know, it's that whole getting your body ready for sleep. So thank you so much, Claire. And yeah, maybe we can chat again and we'll go a little bit deeper into some of these things. But now I will let you go. Thank you for your time. And yeah, thank you everyone.
Bye.
Night. Bye everyone.